All right. Afternoon, everybody. This is kind of a little, I guess, video response to Mudbuster Dooley about the video he did asking about which direction the water runs and about the water of that regarding the flat earth. Everybody's favorite subject. So I told him I was going to respond with a question of my own, but my question is, forget the science of it and all that. Everybody argues the science, this, that, and the other. Cool, understood. I got my beliefs, you got yours, people are stuck in theirs, whatever. What I want to talk is motive. Now, what would be the motive to, at all costs, make sure nobody even so much thinks about, asks about, or discusses the flat earth? As he very well pointed out, any time somebody so much as asks a fucking question, you just get flooded and trolled and attacked and beat down and friends leaving you and just fucking soap opera shit, right? Why is that? Well, I think because when we stop and realize what is the one, I mean, we all are very, very familiar with conspiracy theories on YouTube. The multitude of them. I mean, you can't even count them on fucking the biggest abacus in the world twice, you know? There's plenty, right? So, yeah, I did just say abacus. Look that one up if you don't know what it is. But anyways, so why would that be? Is it because that is the killer? That's the government killer? That's the science killer, at least as far as anything to do with space. And people have done these videos before, but to all those that just dismiss the flat earth theory just right off the bat and won't even discuss it, why do you think? Of course, they're going to come back and say, oh, just because it's so absurd, and they'll ignore every valid question like Mr. Mudbuster just presented. Why doesn't the water slide down the planet? Perfectly good question. I do have one other science question. I live right in Seattle, right next to the Pacific Ocean. It's got to take a lot of fucking gravity pressure to hold that ocean, or let's say if I was in Australia. It's got to take a lot of gravity to hold that water down there, right? It's got to take... But if I'm on the beach and I dig a hole and I fill it with water, right? That water stays just as level and flat as the ocean right next to it. So how can the gravity have the same pressure to hold all those trillions of tons of water there and then have the same delicate, precise pressure to not be pushing that fucking water? You know, why isn't it bowed in? Nope, it's perfectly level. Just sits there. Why isn't it concave? It should be a lot more. It's 5 feet away from the shore. From the tide. The ocean's right there, right next to it. Should be the same amount of fucking pressure. But it's not pushing that fucking, you know? It makes no sense, because it doesn't exist. That's my opinion. But anyways, the motive. What's the motive? Because it immediately, we have gone so far in the advancement of technology. They've told us they've gone to the moon, they've gone to space, that's all destroyed. And everybody that's backed it is a fucking immediately a liar. And all the funding, it bankrupts the world. It delegitimizes government, every government, because you're telling me in 2015 these governments couldn't figure out the earth was flat, but nobody spoke up, nobody said a fucking word. So it immediately wipes out government. So to all you little fucking trolls, the ones that aren't being paid, because you know what you're doing, you just sold out. But the ones that aren't being paid, you may want to stop and think why there's such a concerted effort to make sure people don't even ask fucking questions about this shit. It's pretty fucking obvious to anybody that doesn't stop and ask that question. Why do you think Jade Helm is here? Why? I don't think it's for any other reason. People are waking up that the earth is fucking flat. And I think this has happened before. I think times in history when people have started to figure out we do live on a flat earth, major shit happens. Major world affecting shit like world wars and stock market crashes. Look into it. It is the one lie that kills everything. I mean, you think 9/11, that would bring down America. That would bring down Israel, Saudi Arabia, whoever else was involved. It would, and not even bring them down, but the flat earth. If you're trying to tell me all these countries that have gone to space and everybody immediately knows they were in on it and are full of shit. That's why we're being surrounded by military equipment. I think we're asking a little too many questions and some people don't like it. And because we're not gonna stop asking questions, they're acting upon it. And shit is gonna hit the fan. And there's maybe a multitude of reasons why, but I think this is one big reason. This is catching a lot of momentum, and not because it's a conspiracy theory, because people are realizing they've been living under a conspiracy theory for as long as they've been alive. And as long as they've been eating up the bullshit that the scientists and the government are feeding them. And you will get so many people on here that rail against the government and will tell you they lie about everything. NASA, tell me one thing they don't lie about. The space station is in the bottom of a fucking swimming pool. That has been proven to anybody willing to look. I mean, really just look at the subject, watch, read, spend some time on it. Spend 6 hours dedicated just looking at shit about the space station and about how it's not real. Look up the videos of all the air bubbles of the scuba tanks. I mean, it's just obvious. It's fucking obvious. So that's my idea of why there's such a concerted effort to fucking troll, hound, harass, get shut down anybody that starts pushing this. Because they don't want that question asked. There was a lady in England sometime in the in the teens of the 1900s, did an experiment, had a hot air balloon static up in the air, sat it there for 24 hours, it didn't fucking move. Because the earth isn't rotating underneath us. Guess what happened? There was a major stock market crash, so it kind of got swept to the back pages and nobody even saw it. Next experiment she did, there was a world war kicked off. So, just that's, I guess, like I said, Julia, my question wasn't going to answer your question, but my question is, what is the number one lie that, if proven, kills government? Legitimizes religion and kills government. You think they're going to let that happen? They are right now in the middle of destroying all the religions. Most of them, I believe, they created as control mechanisms so they can condense them into their one satanistic one world religion. So they got all these people thinking, the Christians thinking Jesus are going to come save them, as they get the Muslims all riled up to come attack them. I mean, it's just all the divide and conquer shit, but I think it has a lot to do with people are waking up to this fucking earth we're on, and the bullshit. And people are realizing these fuckers are full of shit, and they're bringing down the hammer, which is why I keep saying, you, America, better bring the fucking hammer before they do, because it's coming. And you know why? Because people have figured out we live on a flat fucking earth. If you don't like it, tough shit. I mean, if you're gonna disagree, cool. But if you want to come and attack me, like everybody, fuck you, I'm not gonna put up with it. Cool. It's my opinion, not forcing you, not asking you, not telling you to agree with me. I am requesting that you look into it with an open mind, and I know there's certain hard-headed assholes that, oh, even when the subject, they're too above it because they're so fucking intelligent. Yeah, that's just it. All the people that rail on it really aren't. When you talk to them, they're not that smart. They're smart enough to get through daily life, but they don't have a great deal of introspect that I think they do, or anything else. I think you're pretty fucking narrow-minded if you can't even look into it without copping an attitude and losing friends and being an asshole about it. It's just the way it is. I mean, why are people so threatened by it? That's what I don't understand. What does it fucking matter? To the religious people, I understand. It matters to them because it's part of their religion. And people believe that it's in the Bible. And cool. You know, more power to them. I don't care why you believe it, how you believe it, whatever. Or don't believe it. But I do believe it. And I think a lot of other people are starting to believe it. And I think that may be a big part of why we are where we are in the world today and what's going on and why the crackdown's coming. So maybe just some shit to ponder on, but that is the conspiracy theory. That is the killer. So now you know why it's so dangerous to ask questions about it. So I would encourage, keep asking questions about it.